All right, hello. If you're new to the channel, my name is Rob, and this is probably a weird video for you. This video is more for people who have watched a lot of my videos in the past. You know, it's been about a year and a half since I was making videos for real, and I know I made one video this summer, and that was kind of like an experiment. I was playing with some new cameras, one of which you are looking through right now. But I really haven't been focusing on making videos, and I feel bad about it. I mean, I wish I spent more time making videos. I think there's a lot of topics that I should be covering that people who are preparing for auditions, playing percussion, or being a musician really need to know, and things that I should really be covering. So I've had trouble getting started. I have an extremely high level of perfectionism that I expect a lot out of myself. I want to make the perfect audition channel. I don't know what exactly that means. I want to make the perfect, classical music education YouTube channel. And so every time I think of a video, it's like, well, that might not be, I might not have quite a good enough concept for that. Or do I really want to start with that? And I guess the answer has always been, well, that's not exactly the right video to start with, or I haven't exactly figured out how I'm going to, structure the videos that I do in the future. A lot of things have changed for me. So, and I felt like I've had all this time. I've been away for all this time from making videos that the expectation that at least I've placed on myself has gotten higher and higher and higher. And I look back at the videos I made in the past, some of them are, have been seen by hundreds of thousands of people. And there are things that I'm really proud of. And I have this kind of curse, I guess, where if I make a video and it's not as impactful as the best things that I've ever done, makes me feel like they've been completely worthless. I know that that is actually a common thought in musicians, and especially professional musicians. If you have performed at a high level, you feel terrible if you ever go out and perform at even a slightly lower level. So all of that complicated baggage has sort of prevented me from getting started. And along the way, I've thought, well, I need to do a pandemic recap. I need to do like a recap of all the projects I've done. I want to do some kind of video about what I'm going to do in the future. I want to do a video asking you guys what I should do in the future. I want to go over my goals. I have all these things that I feel like I want to incorporate in the videos to show you where I am in this project and what kinds of videos you can expect, and why I've been away and what I've been doing. And I've thought, how can I get that all into one video, but have that video be like one of my, 250,000 view videos? It's stupid. Like, I should have just, gotten past it. Like, just saying it out loud right now makes me wonder, like, why the hell was I, living, under those expectations. It doesn't matter. I decided to jump back in. There is no perfect video to start with. There's no perfect topic. And so I'm going to start with this, which is basically like a, hello, I'm back. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for watching. I mean, out of the 15 or 16,000 people who have subscribed to my channel, I wonder how many people, or maybe it's 14,000. I wonder how many people are still around. I mean, a lot of you guys probably subscribed to this channel back in, 2016, 2018, and then you were waiting for me to do something, and then I didn't do anything. And so if that's the case, I totally understand. A lot of people who used to be on YouTube maybe are off YouTube and they're onto TikTok or some other thing. Doesn't matter. I am starting anew and starting fresh. And I just wanted to go over a few things and kind of get you up to speed on what I've been doing, where I see Audition Hacker going, Audition Hacker and Percussion Hacker, what kinds of videos and content and projects I see as being useful in the future. So I have a few notes, and I'm just gonna I have my cool orange notebook, and I'm just gonna go through a bunch of stuff and um, you know kind of tell you all of that stuff. So yeah, it's been an interesting, year and a half. I am back at the Met finally. This is one of the first weeks that they've actually let us in, and we've had a few concerts already. It's very exciting. Hopefully, nobody, there's no COVID breakouts. They're being pretty darn careful. Every single person in the house is vaccinated, and mostly everyone has to wear masks except for the woodwind players during rehearsal and a couple other exceptions. And for instance, if you're alone, totally alone in the room by yourself and nobody else is in the room, then you can. Otherwise, you'd be seeing me with a mask. Part of the reason why I'm being so careful is we have a new baby at home, which is awesome. We had a baby in January of 2021. She is now 7 months, and her name's Lily, and she just crawled today for the first time. She crawled forward. She had been crawling backwards. She had been kind of rotating, but she had never crawled forwards, and she zoomed forwards, which was awesome. So she's unvaccinated, so I have to be super, super careful. And so that's one thing that's been going on, and that kind of has overwhelmed the rest of all of everything else I've been doing, which, as you can imagine, and it's impacted a few things. The first thing that it's impacted is she took over the room I used to make my videos in at home. The white wall, the black shirt. That's her nursery now. So I don't make videos at home. I find a place to do my talking, and I'll make videos at the hall or on the street or wherever, nobody will yell at me. And so that's the plan. Over the course of the year and a half of the pandemic, I went through probably similar up and down motivation levels as a lot of you guys. Some people, now that the pandemic is over, are sort of saying like, I hate to admit it, but I had a great time. And thankfully, I'm one of those people. I mean, it wasn't all perfect, but I had my wife. I was living with my wife's mother. We had a very secluded kind of house to live in with good internet access and amazing cooking. And we had each other, so that was nice. And I felt like this is my chance. I always wondered, what am I going to be capable of? What could I be capable of if I had a whole year to myself? And of course, I've always thought about that. What if I could take a whole year off? I want to learn, all the Bach sonatas and partitas on marimba, or I want to, record another 2 books of Delacluse, or I want to create, new courses that I know will help people. And so, if I look back, the big accomplishments that I, made are, first of all, I created a new 8-month version of the audition coaching program that I run, Inner Circle. We had 15 or 16 people go through the program, and I created a whole new curriculum for them, where I, dug deep into my background and my understanding of musicality, so that I can teach about musicality itself in a way that had only ever been in my head. And I can teach it in a way, the same kind of structured, detailed way that I teach about audition prep and about percussion technique. So it has always been one of my dreams of how do I lay out what is essentially a language, the language of musicality, in a way that makes it obvious for people who are trying to build orchestral level musicianship. So that was a big accomplishment. I also created a new course called Academy Builder, which is a program where I helped some people. I taught some people how to create something like auditionhacker, but of course, whatever topic it is that they want to teach about. And that was pretty interesting. That was I worked with some amazing people who are destined to become, excellent world-class teachers. I loved teaching, them and working with them. I'm not sure I love teaching about business in general. I mean, I think I've had a lot of experience with doing Audition Hacker. I've been doing it since 2015 or 2014, depending on how you calculate it. But I don't feel like I'm an expert in it. Like I feel like, I have expertise in percussion and auditions and musicianship, but I don't really have expertise. I have a few years of trying to figure out what to do in online business, but it's changing so fast, and I still feel like I fail a lot of the time. So I'm not. It's like maybe at some point in the future I'll feel like I have a leg to stand on when it comes to teaching about business, but and becoming an online teacher, and I'm open to it. But for whatever, I mean, it's more fun to teach about music, in my opinion, too. But that was an accomplishment. At some point when I come back to that, I have a great foundation of a course that I have created. And I just did some other stuff that was kind of interesting. I took a 3-month intensive Korean course. I think I told some of you guys about a course that I did in Korea on Korean in the fall of 2019. I took a sabbatical from my work. And I took level 3 out of 6. It's a 3-month program at Yonsei University in Seoul. And I completed it. It was awesome. And then last summer, 2020, they were offering it online for the first time ever. This school, it's only in person, but since they were offering it online, I did level 4 of 6, and so I'm not fluent and I still suck at Korean, but it was really amazing to be able to take the next level of that. It was like a dream come true, let's see what else happened. I got really into Scotch, and I learned about the different regions and the different tastes, the Isle of Islay, and like I really want to visit now, and I found my new favorite Scotch. And I learned about how to take care of a, pregnant mother, and then how to take care of a baby once the baby's born. And also, I am by no means an expert, but I tried to learn as much as I can. I got a whole bunch of books and audiobooks. I probably walked like 4 miles a day most days throughout the pandemic. And so I just would listen to audiobooks, and I learned a lot. It was, that was great. I took lessons through much of the pandemic, Korean lessons. And then let's see. So then I'm trying to think. And then I had a big failure, actually, that could be interesting for you to learn about, which is that I had a course that I was planning to create called Audition Machine, and it ended up that it just wasn't exactly the right type of course for people for this summer 2021, and so that actually fell through. Just like in auditions and being a musician, there are failures in being an online educator, an online music educator. Some of the things that you do just don't quite work out, and so this is one of those. And then this summer, I was kind of eyeing a return to these videos and doing YouTube, because I think when I look back and take stock of how I spent the last year and a half, I focused on the creating, experiences and materials for the coaching students, my coaching clients that I work with throughout the year. The coaching program, the audition coaching program, is 8 months long, and only a few people can join because it takes a lot of my time and energy, which I have found to be one of the most fulfilling ways of working with musicians. It's been amazing working with those musicians, and already this summer and the past few weeks, I've had a student from Inner Circle win a assistant principal job in an Ixom orchestra, get to finals in another orchestra. and get into the conservatory, the master's degree they were looking for. And so, yeah, it's really fulfilling to work with somebody through a whole year, and then see them succeed. But I've been doing that to the detriment of, my YouTube channel and you guys. I can't create an experience, that's such a deep experience for just a few people, and just ignore the 15,000 people who watch my YouTube channel or who follow my emails and have come to rely on my materials in their practicing, or else they'll forget about it, and I won't be able to have the impact that I want to have. And I felt a little bit bad about that. My goal with Audition Hacker and Percussion Hacker has always been the same, and it continues to be the same. I went through so many struggles as an up-and-coming musician. I feel like I have this perspective of my own journey, my own, from when I was in 8th grade, since 4th grade taking drum set lessons, and then 8th or 9th grade taking classical music lessons, and then the next decade taking auditions, and finally winning my job. The whole way through, I felt like I had a love of music, and I had like a passion I needed to win a job, but I never had any real talent. I never had any innate ability to skip, things never just came to me easily. It took an incredible amount of work to get past whatever struggles or obstacles I was experiencing. Like every obstacle seemed like if I had a problem with my role, if I felt nerves in auditions, if I missed a note, it felt like the end of the world. And I never had good answers. I never felt like I found answers easily. It took just huge amounts of struggle and difficulty getting through my musical journey. And so I've always felt like if I have solved problems in my own playing and my own musicianship, if I have overcome struggles, then it's almost my duty. I need to share the answers, the things that helped me. I had, this as a younger player up and coming, I had this dream. I just want to sit in the practice room of a professional and see how they practice. What do they do? How do they build their chops? How do they learn music? How do they avoid wasting time and avoid all the struggles that I had to deal with? And I also wanted, those same professionals to sit in my practice room and watch me and tell me what I'm doing wrong and help me guide my decision-making process. And of course, you never get that. So but I always felt like I need that. I can't just have one lesson a week. It's not enough. I need to have supplemental ideas. I need to have the best ideas. And as an up-and-coming player, I felt like I didn't have those except for my one amazing lesson a week with my great teachers in high school and college. Just as an example, with Delacluse, for instance, I recorded these Delacluse etudes in 2014 because I felt like there's no recording out there. There is no definitive recording of the Delacluse etudes. There's no recording that you can just listen to and know that it is a high-level, definitive, excellent example of how this piece could or should sound. And I don't want my version to be the only way. I don't want my version to be the way that everybody tries to copy. I want, Jake Nisley in San Francisco and Chris Lamb in New York and Cynthia Ye in Chicago. I want every major percussionist on earth to record their own version of Delacluse so that students like you, like different percussionists around the world, can hear all sorts of different examples of the greats doing, the best version of what they can do. And that the same thing as applies to audition preparation. I might not be able to solve every struggle that you're experiencing. You are your own person. You have your own set of struggles. And I can't solve every one of those for you. But if I have solved any one of the struggles that you're experiencing, if I found a way past the obstacle, then wouldn't it make it so much easier for you if I just shared that answer with you? So my goal is to find ways of encapsulating the answers to my biggest problems that I had as an up-and-coming musician and delivering them to you in bite-sized chunks. Like this YouTube channel, my vision for it, my concept is, you're running to a lesson, you have 5 minutes between now and when your lesson starts, you realize that you forgot to practice your tambourine thumb roll and you have no idea how to do it, and you just need the SparkNotes version. So you jump into the practice room, you watch a quick 5-minute video, and boom, you are totally ready for playing your thumb roll in your lesson that you forgot to practice. Or, when it comes to whatever it is, musicianship, learning rep, how to self-record, how to do mock auditions, whatever it is that I feel like I have tended to, that have really spoken to me. The answers, the practice methods, the strategies in the practice room that have really spoken to me, that have really worked for me. Those are the things I want to share with you. I mean, I feel like it is my duty to figure out how to share them with you. So, and that is also what made me feel worse about not coming out with anything for the past year and a half. So anyway, the reason I was talking about that is this last summer, summer 2021, one of my goals was I want to come back with a vengeance. I want to start making great videos. I want to make more of them. I don't want to have any sort of obstacles to making them. I started doing a lot of research to up my game when it comes to making videos. I got new cameras. I got new lenses. I learned about lighting, and I mean, it's not perfect, of course, and it's whatever, but I also created this contraption where I can actually put on a microphone and a light and a camera, and I can walk around with it. Let me see if I can show you. It's on wheels, so I can walk around with it, and I can take video anywhere, and it's perfectly lit, and I can take video. I knew I would have to take videos at the Met or outside, so I can just roll this into the orchestra lounge. Oops, I have my little wire hanging there. Roll this into the orchestra lounge, roll it into the orchestra room, into the percussion room. I don't know, maybe I'll sneak inside the pit one day and do something. Hopefully no Met staff are watching this. Yeah, I spent the summer learning how to make better videos and trying to plan a way where I could make videos more quickly and with fewer obstacles. So I can just uncover my Frankenstein monster of a camera stand and start. So the kind of videos that I want to make are, I have a lot of ideas. I want to pursue audition videos and percussion videos. So I want to do more audition hacker videos that are for all instruments. I want to do more percussion hacker videos that are just for percussionists. I feel like I have a lot to share in both of those areas. And so for audition hacker, I do want to keep making audition preparation strategy videos. I think I can do more having to do with musicianship, working on having better time, rhythm, dynamic, phrasing, character, style, that kind of thing. I want to do more join me in the practice room as I prepare this music kind of thing. More, one thing I want to do is I want to interview people who have just taken an audition in certain orchestras and ask them, what was it like taking an audition for the Cincinnati Symphony, or the Kansas City Symphony or whatever, so that, you know a little bit more about what to expect as you are preparing for an audition at one of those facilities. And I want to do more about the industry of classical music. So what is it like to be an orchestra musician in terms of your salary and benefits, for instance? What does the union do? How does the union protect you at an audition? How does the union work? And how do how does the union work in general? How do negotiations work? I think that's really fascinating and important for you to know as a future orchestra musician. In terms of percussion videos, I have this dream about what I want to do next. I want to create a in the same way that I created the Delacluse Etudes, I want to create kind of a definitive educational library for every excerpt. And so I would do, I foresee it being, or I envision it as being kind of similar to how a specific like online cooking channel was. My wife, one of her projects was to get into cooking and baking. And this one baking website, butterbook.com. It was very cool. I mean, I'm not into baking at all, but I just studied it thinking about how great it would be for excerpts. And so for every excerpt for every, I guess I'll talk about it like this. For every, baked good, there was a main video about how to make it. But then there was a whole bunch of tabs where each one went over some, deep information about that particular recipe. So one of them was like the recipe step by step. One of them was ingredients, including links to all the different ingredients, so you could look at them and even buy them, I think. One was, it was sort of like prerequisites. So if you're going to make a croissant, you have to know the background, a prerequisite of laminated dough. I don't know what these things are really, but I think laminated dough is like the flat dough with like butter in between or something. Yeah, so like it's easier to do croissant making if you've studied like the foundational topics of laminated dough, for instance. Anyway, the final one I think was really cool, amazing, really, troubleshooting. It was like, that is the problem with all recipe books. It's like I try to follow it and then something goes wrong and I have no idea which step I went wrong in. And this troubleshooting one was like, okay, if this went wrong, then this was your problem. If that went wrong, then that was your problem. And I want to make this, but for excerpts, for percussion excerpts. I want this to be the place that you go, both for, when you are first starting to learn the excerpt and every time you have a problem with it after that. I want to make, amazing performance quality videos, including slow motion demonstrations. I want to go over stickings and which recordings, I recommend, practice strategies to learn each part, maybe troubleshooting when this is going wrong. Here's what's wrong and how to practice it. It should just be your definitive place to go to understand and build up excerpts. So that's, I feel like I'm kind of like Sufjan Stevens. Like he decided he was going to do all 50 states, one album for every one of the 50 states. He did Michigan and then Illinois, and then that was it. So I haven't done any, but this is my vision. So I'm planning on starting with Bartók Concerto for Orchestra, and we'll see what happens. I really want to do it, yeah, we'll have to see. So yeah, that's a few different kinds of videos I'm thinking of making. There are a lot of things that get in the way of me pursuing, Audition Hacker to the level that I, expect out of myself. Time is always an issue, and it's even a bigger issue now because I have a baby. So, I'm trying to do a full-time job. I'm trying to raise a baby and be a good husband, and practice enough so that I don't suck in orchestra. And all that stuff means that, I'm well situated because opera percussion isn't as busy as a lot of other instruments in the opera orchestra, so I can come downstairs and make a lot of, videos, as you have seen over the past few years. Hopefully now that we're back in the routine, it'll make it easier for me to incorporate this into, my life into a more consistent way. Yeah, time is always an issue. And it's like I get a lot of feedback, and the feedback ranges from, you know, to both extremes, right? I get messages all the time that say like, I watched this video and I applied what you had to say and I actually got first chair in this audition that I took. I'll get that from like Latvia or from like South Africa or Mongolia. I'll get messages from all over the world of people who have seen videos or students of mine who have had success. And it's so amazingly fulfilling. And for every 10 or 20 of those that I get, I might get one person who feels like they should say something negative to me. And I had a few of these over the summer. These, for whatever reason, tend to be very impactful for me. If somebody sends me a message saying that they don't agree with something, it's like I have this, reaction in the moment that's kind of like, well, screw them, they are just mean. But it kind of eats away at me, and it affects the way that I make future videos. I had somebody, when I was doing one of my programs this summer, somebody make a comment. This is a person who has made comments before, and I tried to block them because I just don't want to see this kind of negativity, saying, this is disingenuous. And it felt bad because it made me feel like, am I not a genuine person? Am I not acting in a genuine way? I know that I really want to help people. I know that my audition hacker and percussion hacker programs, I've only made them because I feel like it's part of my mission to help people. But it really made me look inward. And I think that in a lot of ways, these negative comments towards me, have also contributed to my lack of making videos this last year. And I need to remind myself that the person that I'm making this for isn't a jaded, orchestral musician or freelancer who already decided that the orchestra industry is, terrible and that they have to go and complain to people who are trying to make things better. The people I'm doing this for are the people who are like me, who are out in where I grew up, rural Michigan, who, the next kid out there who's 17 and in rural Michigan or, in Oklahoma or in Hawaii or in somewhere in, Europe, not near, who doesn't get to study with an amazing player. I want to make stuff for them so that they have access to the best information. And I don't know that my information is the best in the world, but it's the information that helped me become a professional musician. So I want to share it with them. I want to share it with you, wherever you are. Wherever you are watching from, wherever you are on your musical journey. If you're interested in learning what it takes in detail to become a professional musician, if you're interested in learning just one example of what kind of mind, what kind of lifestyle, what kind of habits, what kind of personality wins an orchestra job, that's my goal. I just want to lay out what it took for me, exactly what I did, what got me through the obstacles, what were the hard parts, and how I dealt with it. And if that can be helpful for people, I'm so grateful and I really appreciate it. Yeah, I think I have gone through all of my notes, and this video is different. This is not how most of my videos will be. I want most of them to be like punchy and rapid and immediate. Those 5-minute Spark Notes kind of videos. That's what I want most of my videos to be like. But this was just kind of a recap and a reset. I feel like it's really a moment of reset. It's like we had this year and a half, and whatever happened, good and bad, we need to forgive ourselves for the bad, congratulate ourselves for the good, but kind of look at what happened as, it's over. Not that the pandemic is over. The pandemic is not over, but the classical music industry is essentially trying its best to go back to normal, and I'm trying to go back to normal. So I want to pick up the pieces and move on, basically. Pick up the pieces meaning gather the accomplishments of what I did before, acknowledge the things that I have lacked, and make a plan going forward of how I'm going to live my life to more accurately represent the ideal version of how I want to live my life. And that includes pouring my heart and soul and energy into making, materials and resources and trainings and educational information available to you, basically. So yeah, if you are somebody who has watched my videos before, if you've made it to this, whoa, my light went off. All right, my battery went out. Yeah, I was just going to say, if you're somebody who has made it this far in the video, if you're somebody who has watched videos of mine in the past and gotten something out of it, or have some feedback for me, if you have appreciated something that I've done in the past, and if you want to see more, and I would really love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if there are topics that you'd want me to cover, if there are particular, reactions you've had to anything that I've talked about. I'm curious what you think. And yeah, I think that's it. If you like this video, give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.